as most of you probably know, Dawn is in Florida visiting her son, so she's not with us today, so I'm in charge. You
Woohoo.
better take note of that. So.
Oh, I have.
All right, so the first order of business is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, which was December 5th. And all the copies of everything I just put out here for people to grab. I typed the minutes, I wrote them up, so I didn't take a copy. And but if anybody has any questions or comments or changes they'd like to make.
I move we accept the minutes.
I will second that.
All right, and for those to approve.
Yes.
And that's it. We do have a quorum. So I'll raise my hand as well. I'm trying to take notes and pay attention. All right. The underground tank removal, Steve, we do have a bill, so we can look at that. They did send a bill. I thought that they had pumped it out. So the 168 gallon disposal was the sludge remaining in the bottom.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
They had pumped the majority as much as they could get out.
All right,
And then after they pulled the tank out, they cut a hole in the side, went in and
took out the
they have to
sludge.
they have to go in and clean the inside the tank before they can haul it to the scrapyard
Oh,
to cut it up.
all right. So that was just the stuff left. in the
Residual,
bottom.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a huge 10,000 gallon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big.
All right,
But
so
they
that,
go through 500 gallons of oil a day, I guess, weren't they at the school?
I don't know, but I'm.
It was
wouldn't doubt it.
yeah.
I'm
I
sure.
remember it was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
wow. All right, so anything came of that? Nothing was exciting from the
Oh,
removal?
no, it went very smooth other than all the snow we got that weekend.
Yeah,
You know, we were waiting 10 inches of snow out there, but it went quite smooth. They were in and out in a day, basically.
okay. All right. So we can entertain motions to approve the invoice to be paid by the town.
I moved up.
What was the total on that?
Oh, there's a copy here if you want.
Oh.
So you have a copy
I didn't-
for your reference.
Uh-huh.
I just laid them out here because I wasn't sure how many people would
Thank you.
be able to. Oh,
They have Doug.
yeah, you can have one.
Mhm.
So it was 18,000.
88.38.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, it was what, I think $4,000 more than they initially, but I'm sure that's probably,
The initial quote was like a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
a year ago, something like that. And I'm sure everything's
yeah,
gone crazy since then.
I'll second the motion.
okay.
Okay, got it.
All to approve the invoice.
Mhm.
Okay. Next. Paul, do you want to go? Or do we want to talk about exterior demo? We do have Randy on, so.
Yeah, I mean, as far as architecture, I don't really have a lot. I'm waiting to hear more from Randy and on progress. So I don't really have a report, but I'm looking forward to hearing what Randy has to say. His report, how things are going, all that good things.
All right. Hi, Randy.
Hi, folks. Again, I'm Randy with Nickerson and O'Day, and we've brought Steve Burton in to help out with this project. He's gonna be able to push it along better than I have. And so as for a report on demo, we've basically got all the brick stripped back to the original building, and then we were able to remove the dormers and get the building back to at least weather tight for the winter. I know the guys have all put some ice and water shield on the back roof, and we've got it pretty secure for the winter time. Recently, we've been working on figuring out how to get an electrical entrance into the building. We had some trouble with the electrical contractor that we were dealing with. They weren't responding. So we got Carmel Electric involved. They do a lot of work with us. And they gave us a proposal to do the underground service. And Steve's been talking with them again today, actually, to figure out, do we need 400 amp service? Do we really need 3-phase power into this building? I don't think we do. So we're doing a little research on ways to save money and ways to speed up the delivery of the equipment. The meter housing,
Panel,
we've been told is 56 weeks to get.
Yeah.
56 weeks.
56 weeks.
I've seen that with a lot of the electrical panels that we've been ordering. They've been out there for years, some of them.
Yeah.
I asked what the trouble is, and he said that he's heard a lot of them. We never heard this one yet, but this is the latest one, is that there's a shortage of aluminum that is inside the panel that where the meter socket goes in. And the shortage of aluminum and it's got to do with the Ukraine-Russian thing. So
Yeah, that's actually affecting a lot of things.
oh, really? So you heard
In
this one
metals.
as well?
Oh, yeah, no, there's other metals that have, because a lot of these metals were only mined in Ukraine and surrounding areas. And now there's a lot of rush on to try to find alternative sources. Canada has a lot of them. And I think Mexico has some too, but they had sort of put down their production because everything was cheap and easy to get from Ukraine and surrounding areas. So I don't know if it's possible. On another job, we actually ended up with a repurposed panel, but I'm sure a lot of people are looking for those too.
Well, we've asked Jeremy from Carmel Electric to do whatever he can and figure out, just, is there any other way? So he's looking into that. But the important part is we've got Steve on board. Steve's been with Nickerson and O'Day for
20 years,
20 years. And he's been in construction his whole life.
50 years.
He's got a lot of experience, and he's going to be able to push this along.
Steve, have you been on site, Steve, or are you just starting up?
No, I'm just getting involved. I'm gonna drive
Okay.
down there tomorrow,
Okay,
actually, and take a look so I can get my eyes on it and get a better feel, but my understanding is you got, obviously, there's some priorities that need to be done. The
right.
building's gotta get watertight. The roof, get electrical and water, sewer into the building. Get some heat, insulate, work down through a list of priorities.
Yeah.
Gotta have roofing, the windows, I guess, a 6-month lead time on windows as well.
Yeah,
So,
they are.
we should be thinking about that real quick if we
Yeah.
want to get them in before we get back into cold weather next fall. Because we get them, be lucky to get them by August, September. We order them right now.
Is I can't see well because you guys look so tiny, but is Steve Brown in the
Yes,
room?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm hiding over here in the back.
Steve, are you available by chance to meet with Steve Burton here on site?
That was gonna be my next question. What time are you
Okay,
planning
all
on
right,
being here?
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
mine
that would be
too.
really good. Yeah, that would be excellent.
Tell me what day works best for you, I guess.
Well, if you're coming tomorrow would be fine.
Okay, any time in particular, or do you have a phone number? I can call you when I get close to get there. I gotta stop in Louisville at another property.
Yep, 740-7388.
7388. So if I give you a call when I'm on my way, I give you enough heads up.
Yeah, I'm only 10 minutes away.
Okay, all right. I'll do that and try to get together tomorrow. That works for me.
I have a question. Your last name, Burton?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
yes.
Sounds like you're from Maine.
How can you tell?
Because my father talked almost like that, so, but he was worse, so.
Aren't we all from Maine? I thought this was an all
Worse.
Maine.
Worse, I think that was good.
But
Makes
he
it sound like it's
sounds like,
bad.
no, that's a good thing. I like
Hey,
that.
yeah, hey, yeah.
Yeah, no, his thing was Jesus H. Christ. That was his thing.
Steve, are you thinking morning or afternoon?
Yeah.
It would be probably late morning.
Okay, excellent. That'd be
That
great.
work?
That
Okay.
works for me.
All right, good.
And Steve, I would join. I cannot tomorrow, but I'm on vacation next week, but perhaps after that, we can find a time to meet on site as well, or at least
Okay.
talk more about things.
Sure.
Well, that's all the good news, right?
Well, if you,
A
yeah.
a year lead time and 6 months lead time. So do we have any
yeah.
other good news?
We're gonna see what we can do about that, but if you want to write down for the meeting minutes, just so that you
Yeah.
have some things that, our focus, well, I wrote an email to Steve, but basically is electrical entrance, underground water and sewer,
Roofing.
heat. We did get a quote for just doing the heat and just enough duct work so that we can heat with those condensing heaters, and they're actually fairly, what was the quote? Do you remember?
49.
49,000, which I know it sounds like a lot, but it really doesn't. When you look at mechanical prices
Mhm.
these days, it just blows your mind. So for the furnaces, and the propane piping to them and the ductwork trunk lines, I think that's a pretty good deal. So heat into the building, and then roof, strip and shingle. A lot of it's already stripped on the back where the dormers have been removed, and we've got ice and water shield on it already. So
Mhm.
I know Dawn keeps talking about spending the money wisely and don't do things that are just temporary if you can help it. So
Yeah.
Right.
that's not temporary. That the ice and water shield's good. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be right there, and we'll get right on that. Probably within a couple months here, we'll start shingling that thing. And okay, so heat, roof. There was one more. Oh, windows. Oh, and insulation. Right. We don't want to be heating a building that's not insulated
Yeah.
well. So
Uh,
those are the priorities that Dawn and I had spoke about on the phone. Do things that make sense. And then we'll see what that price comes up to, and take a look at the budget overall and see what else we can do. Masonry repointing would obviously be the next, and the bell tower.
Do you have a running tally of budget at this point? Or I'm not sure how live a document you're working with in terms of everything.
I have,
Or is that something you
started-
can prepare for us?
yeah, I started the estimate based upon discussions with Dawn. Once I started, I got into it, I realized there's no way that we're gonna, I'm sorry. There we go. There's no way that we're gonna even come close with the scope of work versus what the budget is. It's not even close.
So I guess the question is, how are we prioritizing at this point? I know we talked in the past about it being enclosure first, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that we're all in agreement with what things we're waiting on. So I think it would be good to have some sort of a running tally, I guess,
Yeah,
for lack of a better
absolutely.
way of describing
And
it.
that's what Steve has got all the prices that I got
Okay.
together.
Okay,
He's gonna be putting together a next budget based upon these items, see where we're at. And if that makes sense. And if we have, if there's a surplus there in the budget, what else can we do? Can we do the
Right.
masonry repointing? Can we do the repointing in the spring? Can we can we do the bell tower?
Okay.
I think that's
So,
the way to go.
yeah, so I think, and we had already prioritized things as a committee, as a group, so this is good. I would
Yeah.
think that at our next meeting, Steve, obviously giving you some time to get up to speed on things, it would be good to sort of, if you and I and whoever else wants to could meet before the next meeting, which I assume is going to be in a month. Maybe at that meeting, we could have an update for everyone as to where we are and then tie that to a schedule, just given that right now we know that things are sealed and we're not doing a lot until next few months or so.
But it would be wise to get the things that are long lead going.
Okay, so
Be ready to hit the ground when the weather's right.
So we can do that. We can do that via email. If you can tell us what items we need to consider, then I can email Dawn and she can share with the rest of the committee. That way we can just make sure that I don't believe the committee would need to approve each of those items. Maybe, but I'm not sure. I guess that's a question, and that might be one for
What we
Dawn.
need to do is we need to get our budget together and propose a next phase of work so that way the
Okay.
contract can be updated. We can't
Great.
do anything. We're only approved right now for, I can't remember the total dollar amount, but we're
Right.
approved to do demolition and a certain pieces of work that were involved, and that was it for
Okay,
just to
got it.
get work moving. Once Steve has this next phase, we'll send a letter. I'm sure you'll be copied. It'll be a like phase 2. And it's going to be called GMP just because that's what the terms used
Right.
in this AIA documents that we use. So
Okay.
it'll be the next phase of the GMP.
Okay, great. So that
And yeah,
so that will be the document that the committee will need to
that's right.
sign and authorize, and that'll start things going.
Right. So you'll get it, and I'm sure that you're going to have questions, and then we can talk
Okay.
through it, and then we can move to approve it, and then
Okay.
that'll bring us into the next phase.
Perfect. Sounds like you have a process in place. I don't know if anyone on the committee has any questions about that, but I think that to me, it seems like a proper way of proceeding and making sure that we all understand what's happening.
We'll have itemized budget numbers on each one of these items so we can pick and choose. If we have to, what we can afford, what we can't afford.
Yes.
Will that be?
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll have a schedule of values, so you'll be able
Okay.
to see what each item costs.
Because we all know we're not gonna make 100% complete building. So we
No.
just gotta decide what we
Right.
can live with and what we can't live with.
Right.
And as you guys are looking at those items, the windows pop up for me because I know we had specified a Marvin fiberglass. We could look at Pella, or even, I'm not as big a fan of Anderson, but we could look at their fiberglass as well. And only because I've had issues with their windows in performance in the past. So that's my personal experience.
Yeah,
But
from what
But-
I've seen, Pella and Andersons tend to be a little bit cheaper.
yeah,
But the lead times for Pellas are 10 to 12 weeks.
yeah. So that's a little
And it's
better.
better, yes,
Yeah.
but the good old Marvins,
Yeah.
they're still like 17, 19
Yeah.
weeks, so.
I guess what I'm saying is we should probably at least look at Marvin as a comparable for pricing purposes. I'm sure that they could give you guys a price to see
Yeah.
if there's any opportunity to save a little money and or lead time. I mean, I'm more than happy to discuss those kind of things with you guys
Okay.
as we're proceeding,
I
because I
think
know
the Pella's gonna be just about the same price, but you can get them sooner.
yeah, which is perhaps an advantage in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been using both Pella and Marvin as our sort of go-to for fiberglass, which is what we're specifying for this project because I know we talked about this. They have a thinner profile because the fiberglass is strong, so they're better than vinyl, and they are not as expensive as the clad wood, and they don't require the same maintenance as a full wood. So if we were doing a full historic preservation, John would be saying, no, we're going to do wood windows with, and that's
And we're
just
gonna paint
giving
them
you.
every 3 years.
And we're going to paint them every 3 years, and they may only have single pane glass because that's
Yeah.
historic.
Right.
As opposed to a fully insulated double pane glass that has a really high performance and a thin profile, which is actually a more historic. And I've had conversations with different historic preservationists about that. And I think it's the right choice to go with a fiberglass window. The brand, we can be a little bit more open with. So that's the conversation. If we can get them faster or a little bit cheaper from one or the other, I think that's worth considering.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep, I'll look at that.
Well, I've talked enough.
You don't
I
have
feel-
any more good news, so.
Yeah. Does that sound like a plan with with everyone?
Yeah.
I just want to make
Yeah.
sure because we're sort of in a, I won't say limbo because it's not really limbo because people are working and working on things, but
Yeah,
it's a gray area, we'll call it. So I just want to make sure everyone's aware of what we're doing and how we're proceeding. And I like the approach that Nickerson O'Day is presenting. I think it gets us some options and it gets us a little bit, the ability to make decisions and also report for you guys to be able to report back about what's happening and why.
I think the visual of being able to see it closed in was huge for a lot of people in the community.
Oh, good.
Suddenly, like, oh, birds aren't flying through and everything. I think that's when they can see something, it's so important. So like you said, right now we're in that phase where they're not seeing anything, but they will,
Yeah.
so I think as long as we give them little bits, they're good.
Good. Okay, great.
yeah. No, I think that, I mean, obviously, the world has changed so much since
Yeah.
this project went to the voters to approve what we had for money. And it is what it is. There's no other way around it. If people can't understand the fact that the world has changed drastically, with interest rates being 7% and 8%, they have to realize that. I mean, they know that heating prices have gone up and everything else has gone up. And for everybody in the construction world, the prices have gone through the roof and just aren't even reasonable
Right.
at times anymore. So we'll do what we can with the budget, and I'm asking for money on a weekly basis from people. So and waiting to hear back on that. So we'll just do what we can do and get it to a point that when the time comes, we'll take the next bite of the apple,
All right.
We've done several projects like this over the years where funding only allowed certain portions of the work. I think there was a place in Bucksport, the theater,
Yeah, downtown Bangor, we did the same thing on that big building beside freezers. That took 10 years.
10 years,
Yeah.
phased. it over
Don't tell
10.
them this.
Yeah.
So it's how the funding goes,
You get a
Of course,
piece,
yeah.
you do a
Yeah.
little piece at a time but that's.
You do the important stuff. The
Right.
Stuff that needs to be closed in, you gotta get it watertight. That's very important.
Yeah.
Get some
Oh, yeah.
into the building, so the site work can be completed and grassed in, and that part of it's done. Things are looking good on the outside, then you get the whole inside. And maybe the bell and things like that have to wait down the road.
Yeah.
Some people might want to donate to do the bell.
Yeah. And I might win Mega Millions this week and.
I'm buying my
I've already
tickets.
spent it. I've already
You're still
spent it
sitting there
and it's,
next month after you
Yeah.
won Mega Millions.
Yeah.
Something wrong.
Exactly, and that's what I would do. I would.
Write a check.
Exactly.
I'd call Paul and say, Paul, just go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Order it.
complete with a wrecking ball swing on the back.
I always want to ride one of those.
Yeah, exactly. So. Does anybody else have anything that they need to add, or Steve, you want to add about all of
No,
this?
I'm just anxious to meet Steve Burton tomorrow and,
The meeting of the Steves.
yeah, well,
Steve Bees.
yeah, Steve
I
B.
heard you-
True,
We'll get
actually,
something
yeah, that's
straightened
right.
out.
Yeah,
Hopefully
the
we'll get
hot
something
rod.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we'll have to clarify in the minutes. It can't just be Steve B anymore. It'll
Right,
have to
I
be
know.
Brown or Burton, so.
right.
All
We
right.
got a question. Hot Rod Brown do you
Yeah.
like hot rods?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, well, I think you'll hit it off with this guy over here. He tends to like the cars too, so.
Yeah.
Oh, then we got something to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah,
Besides
There you
work.
go. There you go.
excellent.
good, good. All right. All right, so if we're past those two things and Paul, you don't have anything design wise, then the next thing is to move on to approving the invoices. So the first one on here is,
Do you need us for that?
I don't need you guys for that unless
Okay.
we have questions on the invoices since I mean, Steve, you've seen these and read them as opposed to Dawn seeing them and working with them all the time, so.
Think we need any more of your time if you guys wanna.
Okay,
Go have dinner.
great.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you all.
Good to
Nice
see
to
you
meet you,
all.
Steve. Take care, everyone. Bye.
All right.
Right, so. It looks like we're,
We already talked about Samard, so that one's.
yeah, and Samards is done. Nickerson O'Day, it looks like 1984-66. So. We're only spending a little bit, right?
I move we approve the bill for Nicholson and O'Day.
I'll second that.
All
All in favor?
in favor?
Yes.
Make my notes before I move on. And call design, it looks like $6,835. So. Most of that was the electrical engineer.
Yeah.
And what did, he came out in. I only, seriously, what did he do for $6,200? I'm just curious.
I would assume.
Designing the.
Designing, okay,
system.
okay.
And then we did meet on site. Once and looked at the route for the underground utilities. And we discussed at length that day about the 56-week lead time.
Yeah.
And they had, 400 amp 3-phase power, which seems exorbitant to me for that small of a building. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't need 3-phase power in that building. There's not gonna be any big motor loads or anything like that in there. So a lot of times if you have elevators, you need 3-phase power because they have high horsepower electric motors, but we're not gonna have one of those, so.
Well, hopefully. And that will save money in the long run.
Well, hopefully it'll save money and make the availability of the specific equipment less than a year.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can't get power in the building for a year.
Good Lord. It is, it is.
It's mind boggling. I just,
It's just totally crazy.
so,
Well, I move we approve for payment, all designs.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
All in favor.
All right. That takes care of all of that. I'm trying to remember reading the spreadsheet, so it looks like we're the balance remaining. He's got all of that listed out here. So we still have some money to pay.
We need to win that
I
mega
know.
power megabucks or whatever it is.
I know,
We do.
exactly, so.
Great.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't, the select board hasn't asked me any questions. We're coming into budget season. I don't think. Whether we put a warrant question on there at this point in time
When do you have to have a warrant question in? By what time?
for April, correct? Doug?
Okay, before April.
Mhm.
Okay, so we got time to,
So you'll have time to talk with him and going back to the well here. I mean, I know it's gonna, because everybody's facing this right now, you know, looking at where the
Oh, I'm
money's
sure
coming
every-
from.
Town budget is the same way.
Exactly,
The school budgets and everything else are getting hammered.
yeah, so. And we'll be looking at that in the upcoming week, so once you talk with Steve Burton and see where things set, then we can go from there.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to him and then it sounds like Randy and he are gonna continue working on pricing and hopefully have something more concrete for us
Yeah,
by the next meeting.
exactly. So
Coming.
on to fundraising. As we know, I asked Justin today for an updated dollar amount. My mother bought a window. Penny Johnson bought a window. That's who Milton Bornstein is.
I just need you to check the date on her dad's graduation. She says Bertha says it was 1943, but she doesn't think that's right, so I just need to check date for Wes.
Yeah.
So I will try to see what I can find.
And then, you know, when I think we'll revisit these people that have bought windows when it gets closer to make sure that we do the plaques in honor
Yep.
correctly.
Yep.
And you know, like my mother, I think she wrote down what she wanted, but we can go back and
Yeah.
visit these.
How many windows have you got sold?
Two so far.
Two have been paid for. I'm buying one for my father and you have people that are, is it going to be one window in for both of you?
I think, as far as I know.
Okay, so total of 4
Mhm.
are two are paid for and 2 more have spoken for.
Yeah.
Who did they send the check?
The town of Monmouth, and then
They have to
put the
stipulate.
memo and put a note in there and include with it, you know, that it's gonna be for a window purchase.
This is what Penny sent me. And she sent it directly to me. And then I took it down. That's what Penny
And-
Johnson sent.
And the spreadsheet notes that as well, so, and I'm gonna,
Do you have Phyllis Hill's book?
I do.
So.
I could probably check it in there. You're right. I'll go check.
yeah, cause I gave my book.
Yeah, I've got Phyllis's.
Yeah.
I have mine at home. I'll check because I don't remember them talking about it in any alumni association meetings, but I know that Penny was just questioning Bertha's memory.
Yeah.
So I said I'd take care of it.
So the spreadsheet does have window noted in here, and I'm gonna meet with Lori to make sure that stuff isn't coming in and hasn't gotten where it's supposed to, which the check came from Kennebec Savings and it's where it's supposed to be. And the Goldstone family, I mean, it did all get there. So right now, to date, without Steve's check for $140, but I can do some quick math here. So with Steve's check for 2 throws, $53,262.80.
That's pretty good. Well, Chris, you've done a great job. Really,
And
you have.
I haven't heard anything from Harold Alfont Foundation. I don't know. I mean, sometimes over Christmas, their timelines of needing to look at requests don't happen. Bangor Savings, they haven't they haven't reached out to me. I reached out to the girl again and said, I haven't heard from anybody. She said, well, this is who is supposed to be reaching out to you. I haven't heard from him. So I'll wait on that. I sent a request to Gorham Savings because they have a thing like Kennebec does, and also Mechanics Savings Bank in Lewiston. So
What about now that the credit union has merged?
there's nothing on their website that I can find.
I have, because I got a phone call from them for Cottrell Taylor.
Okay.
They usually give me like $50 and I got a phone call from this gentleman
Okay.
and he said, we'd like to put our donation box out. And I said, that's great. He said, and you will be receiving a check for us in the amount of, substantially more than $50.
Okay,
And so I have his leave, I still have it.
because I
and-
went on to their website.
Because now that it's Great Falls,
Yeah.
and he said,
Yes,
so I will get that to you.
okay.
Chris, I was wondering, Lane Plummer knows Phyllis Hill's daughter, but the two daughters donated the bench in front of the museum, and I wonder if they would want to buy a window for their parent.
Okay,
for
True.
Phyllis.
You're,
okay.
And the other
Yeah.
one, maybe you can check with some of the chicks that are still in town and see if they want to do something for Arthur Chick.
Okay,
Just a thought.
I don't know, because of course.
Arthur would have been Norman's dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arthur would have been
Yeah,
Norman's
Norman's father, and he was headmaster.
for quite a few years.
Long time.
Yes.
Yeah,
The dates.
I haven't heard anything from Penny and Richard. I mentioned it to Richard. I don't know if I should reach out to Penny directly or Scott. Maybe I'll reach out to Scott.
You know, the Davis
Don't reach
Foundation,
out to both of them. No, I know that. I know.
that's, yeah, good piece of paper, I'll write Dustin's number down for you.
Yeah, write it off back there. And I sent a letter to why can't I think of his name? The people that you just sent me their address. I sent a letter to them.
I can't remember.
The guy that lives right here, his brother,
Oh, yeah, the Pipers.
the Pipers.
Don-
Yeah,
And Don and Guy Piper.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I sent a letter to them.
I will be at the church supper next Sunday. I
Oh.
was gonna, we could maybe see him there and talk to him too.
Yeah.
You gonna ambush him?
Yeah,
Oh, and with him.
ambush him, or say, Chris mentioned she sent you a letter and see what
Okay,
his
I was looking.
response is. So I did send him a letter. And so, we have had some decent donations and,
You've done a remarkable job. Absolutely.
great job. I'm just trying to think of every, possible thing out there that we could try to continue to, ask people for donations, because
What about the Lad Foundation? Have you been
the
able?
lad, I haven't, I'll put that down on my list.
And there is the Davis Foundation
Yeah.
that we've gotten grants from for the museum, but I think it has to be in the National Register to
Yeah.
qualify.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I looked into those, because I took a picture of the window with my phone to start looking at these other foundations. So, I'll look into that and I'm not sure who with the chicks I would actually reach out to.
Norm or Jim? Do you know Jim?
Norman's-
It'd have to be-
Norman's
Because
dead.
Norman.
Norman passed away.
Yeah,
No.
Right?
yeah, that's dead.
I didn't mean
Uh,
that way, that's awful. True, right?
Or John Chick
Jimmy,
or John, I don't know about Cindy.
No.
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 yeah,
You know Cindy.
Yep, and there's been a separation from she and her mom.
Really?
Yeah, so Rowena is living still at the house with
yeah,
one of Cindy's daughters, but there's kind of like a separation. So I would not reach out to Cindy at this point or
Yeah.
Craig.
yeah, well,
So I would go on the other route.
yeah, I don't know if I can maybe reach out to Diana, Jimmy's daughter, who I went to school with, and ask her how to contact her dad. So, and see if he's interested in doing something, so.
Because I mean, Arthur was,
Exactly,
Right.
a
It'd be
headmaster.
yeah,
His picture, there used to be his picture
right
in the library.
over
Right,
the
and
desk.
it did say headmaster.
Yeah,
And Jim Chick went to look for that picture, went to the school and nobody knew where it was. And they finally found it in a closet. Jim Chick was not happy about
I
that. He
don't-
brought it to the museum and
yeah, so I thought it
Yeah.
ended up at the
he
museum
did,
with the,
yeah. So he does
That's
care.
the thing.
He's very
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah,
So-
I would,
I'll reach out to Diana and try to find that route, and I know I'll reach out to Scott Davis. I should try to find.
Yeah,
He's still.
he's
in
on,
Winthrop, isn't he?
no, well, in the winter, he's in Florida.
Oh, okay.
He is on Facebook. Don't know if I have his number.
I tried to
But there is
message
the
him.
separation between those two
Oh,
also,
yes.
which is so sad.
Yeah.
Scott and Ken don't speak.
Families are, good thing you can pick your friends, right?
Take your friend, and your family.
And your dog.
You pick your nose, but. Yeah, oh, I know. Crazy.
What, how much are the windows?
2,000, the big ones. And, I was entertaining purchasing a window for Nancy Morris, so. Because of course, she is. I see her a couple times a year, but I don't like to ask. When I'm down there visiting and spending time with her, hey, do you want to buy a window in your name? I buy a window in her name, so.
I don't have Scott's address, but he is on Facebook.
I probably just private message.
Yeah.
All right. So it gives me some more leads to investigate.
And you've heard nothing from Dempsey.
No, I haven't heard anything back from him. I might send another request because that was kind of Christmas time too, when I did that. I'll see what else I can figure out, who else I can panhandle. So, yeah. But, $50,000 is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
So, we've gotten
It's really
so
a
far.
lot of work on your part.
Yeah. And I just sit there and type as I'm doing things at work. I'll say, well, let me go fill out this request. Let me go fill out this request. So, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to add to that tally for that. But that's all I have for fundraising so far. Calendars. So let me pull up the town calendar so we know who's meeting when.
February, oh, good Lord.
Leanne have a shower curtain. When I saw her when she came for the school board for the
She
shower.
moved in 2 days shy of 18 months. She's in her house. I'm getting my house back to my house. I open a closet and I'm going, that's not my stuff.
I have that problem. My kids don't even live with me.
And it's like, good Lord. Okay, February.
You want to go early in the month again?
Yeah, let me look at February's town calendar, so we aren't picking. And Mondays work okay for people? The Mondays are open, the 6th is open, so
13th would work better for me. Unless that's too late.
I'm just. So if we wouldn't. Doug, how does that work?
Is it too late?
Do we? If we meet this week, what we approve to pay really won't be on till the next warrant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so if we don't meet till the 13th, it wouldn't be on the warrant until the 22nd. So. Which, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter because if we don't meet till the 6th, it wouldn't get on there till the 22nd anyway.
Yeah.
So does the 13th work for you guys?
Yeah.
Sort of, Steve?
Maybe, I don't know. Depends on the weather.
Yeah.
We're going to South Carolina
Okay,
for a couple of weeks, somewhere in there.
okay,
We're taking the camper down, so Obviously, we're gonna be watching the weather, and when there's a 3-day window of nice weather, that's when it'll be gone. And then when there's a
Good luck with
3-day,
that.
when there's a 3-day window of nice weather, it's when I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah,
Somewhere in there, but I can make that all, I can always zoom in if I have to.
all right,
Think I will
all
have
right, so
internet down there.
does that sound all right for February 13th?
And we'll double check that with Dawn's,
6 o'clock. We have any public comments, sir? Okay.
Everybody's doing a great job.
Great.
I'm delighted.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay. I'll second it.
I'll be in favor.
I will favor. All right.